Welcome to the Friday Night Frenzy here on WJCL 22. I'm Pat Timlin. Sports Director Amy Zimmer has the night off, and don't worry, our Dave Williams and Rick Snow will join us in just a few minutes. Football weather arriving to southeast Georgia and the South Carolina Low Country just in time for the final month of the regular season as teams continue to make a push for the playoffs. Let's start the party in Springfield. Effingham County hosting Evans. Rebels wasted no time in this one. First possession, Junior McKenzie gets loose, busts through the line, and turns on the Jets, rumbling all the way inside the 5. Rebels score 2 plays later to grab the early 7-0 lead. The Evans offense not as lucky. Jackson Eubanks and Holden Lovett combined for the big tackle for loss. The Rebels basically made a camp in the Knights' backfield all night long. The Effingham County offense adding to their lead early second quarter. Perkins connects with Malik Letman in the end zone. This touchdown made it 14-0. That Effingham defense, just a big blue wrecking crew Friday night. The second quarter, here the sack keeps the visitors off the scoreboard. Speaking of the scoreboard, it's changing later in the first half. We'll take a look at McKenzie. He will not be denied. Keeps the legs churning all the way into the end zone for the touchdown. Effingham County wins 36-0, picking up their 4th straight region win. Still plenty of action across southeast Georgia and the Low Country to get to, including our Carolina Clash game of the week. Meet the marching band from Southeast Bullock, part of this week's WJCL 22 Spirit Squad.
We're the Southeast Bullock Swarm, and you're watching the Friday Night Frenzy.
Welcome back to the Friday Night Frenzy. Region play is now underway for everyone in the Peach States, and one team looking to stay atop of Region 3 AAA, the Jenkins Warriors. To Memorial Stadium we go. The Warriors boasting an undefeated region record while playing host to Southeast Bullock. Jenkins trailing in the first half. Quarterback Demetrius Holloway sneaks in for the score. Now the Warriors in front by 1. They opt to go for 2. This time Ryan Scott going to get his number called. He cuts back and crosses the goal line with ease. Jenkins only up 17-14 at that point. Next Yellow Jacket possession, SCB lining up to punt, but it's a fake. The Warriors will not be fooled though. They stop the runners short of the line to gain. 4 plays later, jet sweep to Dominique Johnson. He gets around the edge, cuts back inside, and dives in for a touchdown. We'll go to the second half as the Warriors look to continue to build on their lead. Southeast Bullock trying to chip away, but it's a touchdown going the other way. Pick 6. Warriors rumble and bumble into the end zone. They win this one to clinch a spot in the playoffs, 38-37-28 over Southeast Bullock. Let's go out to Vidalia. The Indians hosting Savannah Christian. First quarter picking things up. Blaze Thomas fires a deep ball towards the end zone. The fellow senior, Weston Hughes, pulls it down on the other end. Raiders in front, 7-0. Still in the first, now on the goal line. Watch the Big 22 member, Jordan Dillon, finish off the blocking job, clearing the way for Athen Hudspeth, another key class of 2026 player in the red and white. Second quarter, the Raiders returning to the air raid attack. Thomas lobs one down the left side. Same result, touchdown catch by Hughes. Raiders led 30-0 after 3 quarters. The Indians stirred up a fire in the fourth, but not enough. Savannah Christian wins 37-14. Over at Savannah High, a great rivalry game between Johnson and Beach. The Adams Smashers lead the all-time series 33-32. Opening drive, Bulldogs bowling their way down the field. What a nice touchdown run around the right end by Newton. Find the back of the end zone. Beach wasting no time, putting 7 on the scoreboard in less than 2 minutes. Johnson goes 3 and out, set up in punt formation. The snap nearly goes over Shamari King's head. He pulls it down, but he's got nowhere to go. The Bulldogs bring him down behind the line of scrimmage. Beach taking over in plus territory. Junior quarterback Javion Williams takes the snap. He's always looking downfield, sends a shot to the end zone, and it's on the money. We call that a dime, folks. Great catch by Kawan Ferguson. Still in the first quarter, Dogs piling it on. Newton runs in another one. He finished with 5 in the game. Bulldogs win big, 42-7. Make that back-to-back victories for Michael Thompson's squad. To the south side, where Swainsboro made the trip to Savannah Country Day, that's where we find our very own Rick Snow covering the Single A Division I Region 3 battle. Hey, Rick.
Hey, Pat. Here at Saunders Field, it's the second week of region play for both the Hornets and Tigers. By the way, they both lost their region openers last week. But in a small 5-team region like this, a single victory can go a long way toward qualifying for the playoffs, and that's where tonight's winner will find itself. The Hornets with the team to start quickly. On their first possession, quarterback Devin Traywick goes deep and finds Peyton Bean for a huge gain to inside the 10-yard line. A couple of plays later, Traywick keeps it himself and sweeps right to score from 4 yards out, and Country Day had a 7-0 lead. In the second quarter, Traywick's pass to Stone Wills is off his fingertips, but James Pinnell catches the deflection and takes it down to the 9-yard line. On the next play, Pinnell gets the ball, sticks his foot in the ground, turns upfield, and scores from 9 yards out to make it 14-0. With just over 3 minutes left in the half, the Tigers start to roar as Gray finds Marcus Watkins for a 6-yard touchdown to cut the lead to 14-7. Then moments later, the Tigers have the ball again, and Marco Danford, he scores from 60 yards away. Moments later, the Hornets are forced to punt. They have it blocked, and Danford is there to scoop it up and score from 20 yards out to make it 21-14 as time runs out in the half. Swainsboro dominates the second half and runs away to a 42-14 victory, and next week will host Vidalia, while the Hornets will travel to Toombs County. From Saunders Field, Rick Snow, WJCL 22 News.
Thanks, Rick. To the Low Country now in Hilton Head Prep, where the Dolphins were hosting John Paul II. This one was a defensive battle. The Golden Warriors coming up with a big fourth down stop as Andrew Boyden with the big sack of the quarterback. JP2 then tried to get something going offensively. His quarterback Matt Termini rolls out and then finds Sean Phelan all the way downfield. The completion. Great first down grab here, but the drive would stall out. They were scoreless at halftime. John Paul II will pull away in the second half for the 17-7 win. Up the road in Bluffton, Hilton Head Christian hosting First Baptist, and the Eagles would get things going on their first possession. Quarterback Cress Langhals calls his own number, and he's off all the way down inside the First Baptist 5-yard line. Watch him run by those defenders. They finish it off on the next play as Langhals pitches it out to Hudson Baker. Take it in for 6. The PAT was no good. Hilton Head Christian up 6-0. Then after a Baptist field goal, the Hurricanes defense strikes as Kavion Asbury comes up with the interception that eventually lead to a tying field goal. Hilton Head Christian would stiffen up the rest of the night as they would win 33-6. To the Low Country now. For the second consecutive week, there was a pretty big matchup in South Carolina High School League Class 4A Region 6. After getting dominated last week at Hilton Head High School, Bishop England returns to the southern part of the Low Country, this time the matchup at May River. Our Dave Williams was there and has the highlights in this week's Carolina Clash Game of the Week.
Pat, to say that Bishop England didn't enjoy its last trip to this part of the Low Country would be an understatement, as they got shellacked last week 41-10 at the hands of Hilton Head. This trip wouldn't be any easier here at the Shark Tank either, as the host May River Sharks, well, they're 5-1 so far on the season and looking to remain unbeaten in the region. And a win by May River would keep them tied atop the region standings with rival Hilton Head. And the Sharks already led 14-0 in the third when they tried to go to work again. Sean Mitchell finds a hole, and he's got plenty of running room ahead, but that drive would stall. The May River defense, meanwhile, would keep Bishop England at bay as they bring down quarterback Quinn Mahoney. But they did manage to move further downfield Mitchell Palance with a big run, which eventually leads to a TD. However, rainy conditions made the sledding tough the rest of the way as May River hangs on to win 14-7. And the win by the Sharks sets up a first-place showdown in the region here at the Shark Tank next week when Hilton Head Island comes a-calling. In May River, Dave Williams, WJCL 22 News.
Thanks, Dave. Back to the hostess city, Liberty County, making their debut on the new turf at Groves. Panthers going to have the ball at midfield early on. Senior running back Elijah Brown takes the rock, and he knows what to do with it. Shedding Rebel tacklers as he takes it 50 yards to the house. Liberty County up 23-0. Panthers back with the ball. This time they'll be on their own 40 when Tyrese Alexis sets up the screen pass for Brown. Gets a pair of nice blocks on the outside. Then he'll do the rest. Cuts back once. How about another time? And then a third time for good measure. What a score by the Liberty County captain. Panthers win 43-6, improving to 7-1 on the season. Across town at Daffin Park, St. Andrews hosting Pinewood Christian in GIAA action. Patriots in the red zone. Quarterback Banks Hearns sends a shovel pass to Sam Wasson. He punched it in for a touchdown. Pinewood goes up 8-0 with 8 minutes left in the first quarter. Lead now up to 16-0. Lions in Pinewood territory. Amari Cook takes the toss, bounces to the outside, finds a whole bunch of green grass down the sideline to get St. Andrews on the board. Patriots too powerful in this one. 39-12. They take it at Daffin Park. And congratulations to the Savannah High Blue Jackets. They beat Claxton tonight 19-6 to end their 41-game losing streak. You can find plenty more scores on our website, WJCL.com, but don't go anywhere. We've got more highlights in our Friday Night Frenzy Play of the Week on the other side of the break. In the meantime, meet the cheerleaders from Jenkins High School.
You're watching the Friday Night Frenzy on WJCL. Go Warriors!
Welcome back to the Friday Night Frenzy. We started the night with Effingham County getting their 4th straight region win. Let's go back to Region 1 5A, this time all the way up to Bullock County. Statesboro High School hosts in Brunswick. The region-leading Pirates are a top 10 team in the state. How about the Blue Devils striking first, though? Keon Childers takes the direct snap and follows his blockers into the end zone. Pirates are down, but not out. Senior QB Grant Moore says, "I want 6 more." Taking himself and bouncing through tacklers to the goal line. Blue Devils will get back in the red zone, and if ain't broke, don't fix it. Childers bullies his way in for the touchdown. The Blue Devils hang on down the stretch, 28-21 to knock off Brunswick. What a win for Statesboro. Time for our Friday Night Frenzy Play of the Week. We're going back out to Beach. Junior quarterback Javion Williams rolling out, keeping his eyes downfield and sending a laser into Kawan Ferguson, who hangs on for the catch. What a touchdown. And he's got this to say to the folks at home.
I'm telling you a real deal, cuz.
And we got a whole bunch of real deal college football coming your way, especially right here on WJCL. The Georgia Bulldogs on the road, the Auburn Tigers for the Deep South's oldest rivalry. I'll have the highlights at 11 right after the game. That's going to do it for Week 9 of the Friday Night Lights. I'm Pat Timlin. Have a great night.